hold the border. For what? For what? Give up the city, just give up the cities, move inland, let them come in, fight a partisan war, smash their supply lines. This is the way I look at it. This is my perspective.
I've never even thought about it. Please tell me.
If I was God Emperor of Australia, it would be that everyone does military service, right?
Really?
But we don't do it for that reason,
Yeah.
right? We do it the way the Cubans do it, so that we can respond to disaster.
Yes, okay, yeah.
Right?
Well, that makes
So
sense.
we can respond to disaster. Also, if you invade us, we are going to water our soil with your children's blood. Right?
Okay.
And this is not our threat. This is our firm promise. You put a boot down on our soil in violence, and we are going to water our soil with your children's blood.
Okay. Right? How are we going to do that?
Because we train everyone to fight like the Swiss in partisan armies. We become basically a whole nation of IRA.
Holy shit.
Work in cells, have caches, let them come inland, smash their supply lines, basically force them to bleed every step in, let them take the infrastructure. We just go up into the hills, we forage, we do what we need to do, and we just take them out. We just increase body count.
That sounds
drag
amazing.
in Melbourne,
we've got the country to do it.
In Melbourne, that's it. We've got the space. In Melbourne, suck the tanks into Templestowe and just fucking do it like the Afghanistanis do. Just put your wireless, rocket shoulder thing, rocket launcher, bang, from the tops of the houses.
Yeah, that's it.
And then just disappear.
Do you think that we're going to get invaded? Because you've gotten into a bit of thought about this.
I have a
do you know something I don't?
No, just a contingency plan. If you're going to do this, all of us fight.
Idea.
Why? Okay, this is my fundamental proposition, right? Conscription is shit.
Yeah.
But if you can conscript, everyone gets conscripted. If you can't serve, fair enough, do something else.
Yeah.
Right? But if we're going to do this, to have a professional military, we're asking other people to die for our freedom.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
How do you look someone in the face? We don't take care of our fucking veterans, right? You look someone in the face, you look a mother in the face and say, your child may or may not die doing this. That's a huge thing to ask of a human being. It's a huge thing to ask of a human being from fucking 20 metres, 30 metres away to project a bullet at super velocity that tears apart another human being.
Yes.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that?
Yeah.
How do you deal with that, right? Back in the day, look, fair enough, back in the day. Take all the, missile ballistic weapons out. You want to kill someone, kill them with your hands.
Yeah, that's what I'm
I
about.
think any violence should just be with your hands.
That's what I was saying with hunting.
Kill them with your hands. Go kill a fucking tiger with your hands.
I said, I had to go and chase down a deer, but it's really hard because you have to get out of the wind and this and that, but then you have to get a steady shot and try and kill him in one shot. I'm like, motherfucker, if you want to kill him, you can have a hunting knife because they got antlers. You can have a knife.
Yeah, but it's still hand to hand.
Yeah, it's hand to hand.
Fuck, you can have a spear.
If you think we're so intelligent creatures, human beings, we can shoot a fucking piece of metal out of a gun and it can tear you in half. No. You have to get a knife and you have to stab that thing to death. And that's you. You're tough. I'll shake your hand. If you had a deer's head in your wall, you're the man. You're the man.
Clubs and stuff. I don't want to see dudes fighting with knives and shit. Like, if you can have a
it's also
punch
the
on, a
pack
good old-fashioned punch on.
You get pack violence in clubs and stuff, and you think, dude, you're going to bash me. What are you bashing me for? What for?
No. Well, let's delve into that little topic for a second because that's pretty much.
Hang on. Well, let's go back a bit, right?
Yeah, okay.
So if I was God Emperor of Australia,
God Emperor.
I like this, right? Everyone serves in some capacity. If you're not able to, you do something else, some sort of community service that bonds you with people you don't know. Right? Whatever it is. And makes you feel some sort of connection.
That. Well, I think that we should have...
If you want to be a pacifist, you can be a pacifist.
We should have conscription for working on
the
a
farm.
farm.
You can do something else in the army.
Everybody should have to go...
Build a road.
And work on a farm for a year and actually learn how their life essentials come about.
And also just understand how fucking hard it is for farmers.
Yes, yeah.
I don't poo-poo. They get a lot of sort of support through the welfare system and whatnot, but fuck, that's a hard life.
Not anymore.
No. But it's a hard life. You know what it is? It's a World Trade Agreements. We are the most efficient farmers in the world.
But we have the harshest
Except for our water
rules.
use. Except for our water
we have the
use.
harshest trade rules though. Like, we get some of the lowest prices for what we're doing.
That's because the Americans are supported. Well, that's right too, and that should never have occurred. Like, we shouldn't have.
Because most other countries get subsidies for their farmers, and we don't anymore. And
people used to talk about milk being poured into holes in France because they've overproduced. So instead of it going off in aid.
Well, it's like what I was reading the other day. The Australians had to dump some ridiculous amount of thousands of tons of beautiful navel oranges because
can't get them anywhere.
They were Oh, it was.
You can't get them anywhere. No, they're all
Well, they can't move, but they can't move
Valencia
them.
reduced oranges. Yeah, they couldn't move them because, I can't remember the exact specifics, but like the US California market they'd already invested in. Valencia oranges, I don't know.
Well, it's someone else's supply, right? Under subsidy. So someone in America would like the subsidies to be paid to farmers, but those farms got bought out, but the farmers still work it. So they're basically paying subsidies to multinationals who are food production multinationals, right? Yeah. Once upon a time, when it was Woody Guthrie farms, you understand supporting the farmers to get through, right? But if you've sold your farm and you basically as a slave, you're a wage earner on the farm, you run the farm, then what's the point of the subsidy if you're giving it to a multinational? Yeah. Bear your own costs, right? Yeah. And that will cause them to actually be more efficient. Because they've got to pay their costs, and it's the same for Europe.
But more efficient, like we were just saying, it's the environment and animal welfare that pays. Like you palm the cost onto other things, and so farming efficiency is definitely not always about overall benefits for everybody.
Yeah, it's efficiency in an environmental sense.
Hopefully not a profit base.
But it's also, but you can't take them apart, right? So this is the thing, and I think this is where anyone who's sort of like on the left of things needs to still be willing to see what the hard-nosed practical people are talking about. Like, we can't break out all of these costs, right? Yeah. But maybe we should cost the environment a bit better. Maybe we should cost the actual suffering of the animal a bit better. Like I'll pay a bit more for it, but I can afford to. So how
there should be some things that are priceless. You can't buy it. You cannot make an animal suffer, no matter how much you think it's worth.
But we've always eaten the animals too. We're all vegetarians.
There should be
no suffering in its production. Yeah, mate. Yeah, fair enough.
Definitely.
Yeah, I don't see why it's
a mental change.
I don't see why it's necessary.
Regulations, laws in the actual factory farm, and
it's hard to regulate everything. This is the thing you learn from, Tess. This is the thing you learn from tax, and this is what they learn: is that a compliance model where you help people to do things works better than setting the laws and trying to get people to actually do something that they don't know how to do.
You make it easy for them to do the right thing.
If you can make it really easy for people to farm like that, so we were willing to invest in that as a nation, then that's possible.
Yeah.
But if you're asking those farmers who basically have to pay a bank, right, to turn a profit, they have to pay the bank first before they turn the profit. It's impossible for them to do it.
Yeah. No, I understand that, but regulations exist. We have laws on a lot of things to stop certain things happening, and I don't see why that can't apply to animal cruelty.
I can, absolutely.
It has to, it will. I think that it's going to happen. And if it's, obviously it's going to affect short-term profit margins for whatever businesses, but we'll just have to help them out, like you said, and make it easy for them to make the transition.
How about we just take kids to abattoirs as part of their education?
Yeah. Yes, that's what I mean, like subscription for everyone. Subscription.
You want to eat meat, we go kill. Like when we were in Africa, if we wanted to eat lamb, someone had to kill the lamb.
That's it, and that's what we're talking about.
They went
and
bought the lamb, and they killed the lamb. And I was probably about 5, and I was told to stay inside, and I just had to know, and I could not eat that meal.
Great, and that's what we're talking about. The disconnection between people, what we gain in our lifestyle, and the whole production line is a lot of the problem with the way things are, because we don't have the chance to decide whether or not, and make the judgment call whether or not what's going on is right or not, whether we support it, because we don't have any contact with it. So that's why if you're going to eat meat, you need to make sure that you're okay with the whole way that meat came about on your plate.
Definitely, and it's understanding about each sort of different specimen species that you have to eat. Pigs are different to cows, are different to chickens, and these are big topics, and like the fact that, we've got this nearly 1 in 2 cancer rate these days, apart from artificial things in processed food that we eat, you've got to think about the possibilities of the stressed animal toxins getting released into the meat, and then we're eating this, stressed meat, which may not agree with what we're all about, you know what I mean? And that could be a big cause of cancer. You don't know. Like if you see some of these animals' lives, they're so brutally treated.
Like you used to do before, you're sensitive to energy and aura or whatever. But this, and you carry every emotion you carry within the vibration of your physique, and as if the pain and suffering that animals go through isn't carried through their flesh.
Yeah. When I bought an organic chicken once. Or more than once, but this first organic chicken.
Organic's different to free range again, isn't it? Yeah, it's proper organic.
So it's all certified and all the rest. and I have never fought a carcass so hard to break it apart. It was like an old school chicken.
Really?
And I'm used to just I'll butcher the chicken because that's what you do. You want to eat a chicken curry, you got to butcher a fucking chicken.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
right.
a whole chicken, you chop the shit out of it, right?
Yeah.
And the marrow in this chicken was just incredible. It was like a deep, rich burgundy colour.
Oh,
And the
wow.
flavour you get from it. And the chicken, like this dead chicken, fought me the whole way to break it apart because it was so strong.
Yeah, I have no doubt. Organic.
And when I've cut meat from like just factory farm chickens, you just bang straight through.
Yeah,
it.
straight through.
The fat stinks, and the fat from this chicken it's like pig fat, which is thicker.
Yeah.
And it sits on your fingers. But when you have those like farm chickens, it just coats up your fingers like slime. Like it's.
Well, I mean, and I think I love the diversity in pets too because I had 7 chickens when I was younger, and they've got personalities, man. They're all actually individual creatures. They respond to my voice calls. They're like a pet. Guys, it's time to go to bed now. Do you have to go up? And you're, no, I don't want to. Yeah, okay, I will now. You know what I mean? Can I get patted? They each knew their name. You could say one name out of 7, and one turned up and looked around. And and I had one to live till I was 13.
Wow.
One chicken lived till I was 13, and it was the one I got picked on the most. And it was a small,
it was the toughest.
It was a runt, and it learned to be resilient.
Tough,
And then look, and it shocks you, man. Sometimes you watch these documentaries and you see that, and when you do see the reality of the way the meat industry works for efficiency and the profit system, it's hard. It's hard.
When I chop a chicken that's even sometimes the free range one.
How often do you do this? Did you used to just do it a bit, or?
Well, because I do a lot of cooking, so I'll butcher the meat. Like, no, I'm not killing it. I'm not killing it.
Oh, right. That's what I'm saying. Sorry,
just
my
butchering
mistake.
it. I'm not plucking it. Like, I've never done that. I think that would be a chore in itself.
No, we are. I'm dying to do that.
Well, we're actually
my dad's got a farm and lambs, and so
we're
going to do it. It's probably in a couple of months. Is the best time to kill the lamb.
Yeah.
We're going to get someone to come and teach us how to do it. And so we'll be there.
Slaughter a lamb,
and then everything.
Yeah.
I'll be interested to see.
And then we'll have a barbecue.
Well, we're going to do a podcast on it, and we're going to do a podcast on slaughtering the lamb, and just have it recording the whole time of when we cut the throat, the sounds the lamb's making, and then describe how we feel and what we talk about. So run
that's
all the way.
That's a pretty big thing. Like
I think it is, and you talk about it. Me and Tessa because we're only going to kill one because we won't eat enough meat. There's be too much meat. So Tessa's like, oh no, I want to slaughter it, and I'm like, no, I'll slaughter it, and then I want to have that experience, but. Just thinking about actually being there.
When you're looking that lamb in the eye,
it's going to be a tough one. It's not like, give me it, let's cut its throat.
So there's a real appreciation then in the loss of the life. Like I have a rule with meat, and there's a couple of friends that I've infected. That when we go out for dinner, we eat too much anyway. But when we go out for dinner, I don't mind leaving carbohydrate on the plate. I don't mind leaving vegetables on the plate.
Never leave meat.
But if there's meat, fish, whatever it is, that thing died.
I agree.
So that thing died for you.
Yeah.
It's
so
here at this part.
It's
here at this part of the supply chain.
Yeah.
Because you wanted to eat it.
Absolutely.
So if you don't eat it, that's just not right.
I completely agree. I can't leave meat there.
Yeah. Sometimes it means that everyone else has gorged themselves in a full and there's too much food and you're just sitting there freaking eating. I've got to eat this meat.
I'll pick the meat out of curry, pick the meat out of stir fries.
Yeah. And it's important.
Precious.
It's important. It's a life.
It's really important.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah.
And it gives you life too.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
So what goes on with your sustainability jam? What is it? And when is it on again?
It's on probably at the end of this year sometime.
Okay.
The next one coming up is the 1st to the 3rd, and it's the Big Brother. It's the actual original jam. So it's the Global Services Jam.
Okay.
And this is where you get service designers jamming. And jamming is basically working together with a whole lot of people you don't know.
Yep.
And creating ideas that then you work on for 2 solid days, 2.5 days. So you work the Friday night.
Yep.
What happens on the Friday night is the international people will give you the theme.
Yep.
And then you just brainstorm and do
And is this recorded or is this...
Some of it, sometimes it is. Most of it is you lived and it's there.
Yeah.
The next one's on the next service jam is March 2nd, 1st to the 3rd. 1st to the 3rd, $50. For $50, you're basically going to learn how to do design thinking, right? And design thinking is like flavour of the month around the world. And it's basically learning how to free up your creativity, but also learning how to really project like a user experience in the design of a thing. So not you sitting by yourself working out what you think it should be, but taking data from the environment, from things, using emotion